I'd love to. How did you and Kyle
Yes,
conceive of this course? Like it's 3 days that
for
you guys
sure.
want to do really great work. Like, did you consult
Yeah,
certain experts? Did you take a model? Like, I'd love to hear
yeah,
your work through for that.
yeah. So at the very basic level, right, we did a life coaching certification, but that's not where it came from. It truly, 100% honesty came from experiences. How, what did we go through and how did we work through it? I think that's the best form of a coach. I don't necessarily like somebody to preach to me outside ideas. We're very passionate about the idea, or the answer is inside of all of us. It's deep inner work, but we just need that solitude and a little bit of guidance to kind of like, bowling alley, bowling lanes, like bounce us there. And it came from experience and it came from what we did. And I believe that when we built and launched the program, our goal was to have it work in tandem with other coaching programs. So we work with a lot of coaches now that refer us a lot of work. And the reason for that is we kind of clean the slate for their students so that they can come in and coach their ideology or their beliefs around what they're working on. So it's
Amazing.
been a cool metric to kind of clean the palette for the coach because it gives them that self-awareness. Some people come in, I mean, you have a deep amount of self-awareness, just that whole thing you said about feeling the emotions versus writing in the emotions. A lot of people don't have that. This is a great way to kind of dive in and put a toe into personal development. And a lot of people haven't had that. And it makes it so much easier for the coach to come in now that they have at least some fundamental understanding of personal development to have success with their program.
Wow, that's cool. That's similar to how I've heard people say like no one should ever forego talk therapy for psychedelics, for example. But if you
Yes,
dip into psychedelics, it helps
sure.
you open up enough to be able to make talk therapy helpful. Whereas if you go
Yep.
in and you're talking to a therapist and you're combative, you're not even open to anything they're saying. Obviously you'll be there for a year, you'll get nowhere. But
Yep.
if some for some reason you need to have mushrooms or MDMA or ketamine or whatever those
Sure.
million things that are out there, and then you can sit down in a room with somebody and have them ask you a question and you could answer it honestly. Like whatever you need to take to be able to have an honest
Exactly.
conversation, I think is quite worth it. And if the solitude is a way for people to sit for a second and be like,
Yeah.
okay, what's going on in here? What's what's the deal?
100%. Whatever they need to do. I mean, we don't prescribe or tell them to do anything. We've had a lot of questions around that. We've had a lot of questions around fasting. Like, is this a fasting retreat? It's definitely not.
Right.
It's what I love most about our program too is it is a choose your own journey kind of experience. You get out of it what you put into it. If you are wanting to be on your phone the whole time, you're not going to get the full benefit. We've had a
Right.
lot of people come through that as well. Like they didn't get much out of it, but we've had 99% of the people go through it and it literally changes their life. And that was again the moment, if you call it like my calling, was when I first heard this one individual say like this changed my life. From that point on, I knew that the program worked. And we continued to hear that over and over. And a big part of it, man, was putting the phone away. It's crazy
Fuck.
how we're programmed for that, man. And it's a social thing. We don't got to, we can open that rabbit hole up, but we're not going to do that
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to kind of watch that evolve.